Hello, I'm Steve. Thanks for visiting the Patio Heat channel, where we provide visual concepts of infrared heating as well as tips for ideal patio comfort. Check out our patioheat.com website for sales and more information. Please tap that like button if you find this video useful, as it helps others find our channel. Now let's get heating. Alright, so here we have this residential application, and we can see I have a covered patio section here. There's a door here. I believe there's actually a dual door, one that swings out this way and the other one swings in, I believe. There's a window up here. Up here you can see we have a fan, some lighting that's recessed in the ceiling, and that's about it. Let's go ahead and look at the overall dimensions. I have now at 16 feet to this post here, 11.9 to here. I'm not quite sure. They did mention this was approximately 14 feet, but I wasn't able to really get the visual aspect. So none of these dimensions are 100% accurate. This is just a visualization of this project, so just bear that in mind. This depth here I have at 12.1, and then I have a total height over here at 10.11, so this is called 11 feet, and then down here at the bottom at 7 feet to this edge here, all the way around the structure here. We have a couple of different seating options. I have just a reclining area here. This is where I believe they're focused on heating. There might be some other seating over here, but I just threw that in just as a visual perspective. And yeah, the fan, and let me just show you this viewpoint from up here. So if I knew exactly where the fan was in relationship to this overall drawing, I can, if I had like a dimension from the wall to the light, and then the distances between all four lights, the distance between this wall here and the light itself, I can become more accurate in my recommendation. However, I don't have that information, so I'm just plotting what it visually looks like. So again, the more accuracy I can obtain, the better off it is. There was some information I got that just stated some rough estimations about how far the distances were. So again, this is just a visualization, and there will become some issues with these lighting and my recommendations here. So let me go ahead and turn these back on and turn off the dimensions for right now. And this is going to be the preferred option. Now the preferred option is using, I should also state that this is in a cold climate. I believe this is in Colorado, and so the first option would be utilizing two 6,000 watt units. These are 6,000 watt 240 volts at 25 amps apiece. I'm required to keep a minimum of 9 inches of clearance above the heater. So let's go ahead and just turn on some of the clearances. Oops, that's the below clearance. And you can see here, I'm just at that 9-inch clearance, or excuse me, 6-inch clearance above the heater and around 6 inches out and around. So this would have to be mounted on some sort of chain, which is perfectly acceptable. Let me just show you this one over here. So you could just remove this bracket here, and then attach a chain to the center point here and attach that chain to the ceiling. These are about 18 pounds a piece, so it's not that big of a deal with regards to the weight. And let's see if there's anything else. So one other point I am going to make here is that not only am I trying to center the heater as much as possible, keeping that 6 inches of clearance, but I also have to make sure that I'm meeting the clearances below the heaters to the fan blade. And I'm going to come over here and plop that on here. So this is the 18 inches of clearance. You can see that the fan is above the heaters, and I actually put this blade over here so you can see it's straight out to the heater itself. And if I put the top clearance back on here, let me just tap that on here, you can see that I'm 6 inches away from that fan blade, and that's the main issue that we want to make sure that we're meeting. if we're below the fan itself. So we have to be below the fan itself in order for this 16 inches of clearance to be met. I hope that you can see that, and we should be good with that. Now obviously the next issue is with regards to the lighting. I am right on the bottom side of this light here, and you know, there's going to be some shading from the heater from this lamp coming out here as well, because it's below the heater itself. So that's why it's important to know where those fixtures physically are in relationship to the overall structure. So in any case, let's go ahead and take a look at the footprint of heat here. You can see the footprint of heat is fairly decent. I would probably move them a little bit closer to the main seating area here. I know there's some flexible seating out here, so this would probably be the most important portion of it. And yeah, I think this is just approximately like 8 feet off the floor, 7.5 feet off the floor. So if you looked at this, I just have, you know, these each section here about 7.5 inches, and you can see here this is 7, so it's going to be about probably about 8 feet off the floor. And you know, you can see that the ray goes out further. It's just that it needs to be up a little higher. So now another thing you could do is you could utilize a 5,000 watt dual unit, which is a little bit shorter, but it still needs to be pushed over to the right side, the left side over here. And one thing I didn't mention yet is this doorway. So this doorway could become an issue if we're penetrating the clearances below. So I'm not quite sure if this door actually swings out this direction. It only appeared to be that way. And if that's true, that it does swing out this direction, then this application is not going to be acceptable unless this is a steel door. And of course you don't want to superheat any glass on a door, because it'll be unevenly heated, and so you'll have cold air up here and a nice hot beam coming down here, and that will superheat the glass and make this section expand more than the temperature outside. So you're doing that, you might shatter the glass. So you need the clearance, and you need to make sure you're not shining the beam straight on a piece of glass. So all right, so that's one option, and the other option that they were looking at is a possibility of placing some, or just a single unit. And so the single unit I just kind of spaced centered within the fan area. I'm actually attached to the ceiling itself, so I just come off the ceiling here and am aiming the heater approximately 30-35 degrees inwards. Now and you can see we're meeting all the clearances, of course. Let me just turn the top one on there, so that's not an issue, and bottom clearance, no issue there, and there's no issue with regards to the lighting. However, the issue I see with this application is that it will become hard. This will be acceptable as far as the intensity. However, if you're sitting down here, you'll probably, obviously not receive heat right here, but if you moved in just a little to, get yourself warm, you'd probably be too hot, so, but there's, every individual is different. You might be one that likes a lot of heat, so this is probably the spot that you would want to sit in colder temperatures, and, not if you're one of those people that like just a little bit of heat. So that would be better for you over here with this particular type of application. Now, you could use a control system where you can dim this system on and off 100% to 1%, or you can use a duplex switch where you can go 3,000 watt, 6,000 watt with switching each individual element on and off. So that would be an option there. And obviously, if you wanted to, move the heater to the right here to cover more of the seating area, I just again centered it so that it kind of looked uniform with regards to the lighting and the fans up here. So there you have it. All right, if you're looking for some assistance with your outdoor heating application and you'd like us to review your plans, please send your information to designs@patioheat.com. I'm Steve. And again, please tap that like button. We do not advertise. We are not monetized in any way with YouTube, and therefore YouTube will not promote our channel unless we receive your appreciation. And we thank you very much for that. Thank you and have an excellent day.